So, when we're talking about how we perceive other people, I know it's a hot button topic right now. And when you're talking about things like body shaming and body image and all of these things, it can get pretty scary, especially when you're trying to talk about like what you want in a partner. So, we're all visual creatures, and I think the part that we get away from is that works on a level that isn't even part of like what we learn. It's just what we gravitate towards as creatures, as mammals, the same way that apes do, the same way that lions do. They see something that they like, and usually, what do we see? Larger males are more dominant within their packs, their prides, their herds, what have you. And that can speak to why we always hear this thing about, women wanting a guy that's 6'2". It just might be some of it is parroting, and they're just hearing what other people are saying. So it's like, oh, I want a 6'2" guy as well. But it also speaks to society does tell us that taller men happen to be a little bit more successful or more, readily followed. And there's all of these things to it. But what does that speak to? That speaks to our biology on a lot of levels. So I don't get too upset about that. It used to be like 6'2" or whatever, but it is what it is because the percentage of men that are 6'2" and up, it's a very small percentage. And then when you're talking about financially successful, that number gets even smaller. So really, a lot of these women are going to end up dating nobody, or they will get lucky and date like a professional athlete, entertainer, or something like that, or a very successful businessman. But away from all of that. Um, I was going over a video that I saw where a couple was having a problem when it came to him addressing her weight, and he was willing to get into shape with her. They'd been together for a few years, and she immediately took it the wrong way and threw in, I had your child, things like that. Sounds like the child was at least into toddler stage, so everybody takes a different time mentally, physically, emotionally to get back to where they need to. But there still is something to be said that that man was being honest, and he was speaking to something that may have been speaking to his biology. Not that he was disgusted by her, but hey, this is what I was attracted to. So we have to have an open mind when we're talking about these things, and it's not so quick to jump to somebody shaming. I think body shaming gets taken out of context a lot of times, and it is a one-sided thing. So if we shouldn't be saying things about women and their weight or things like that, then I think all around, then we should stop talking about height, endowment for men, things like that, because what's the difference? If it's in place that can potentially give somebody low self-esteem, then we have to get away from that. But um, this couple, for me, when you're talking weight, and as a single guy, I've been on some websites, the dating sites and things like that. Just out on a few dates, in the last few years. Me personally, I will say me personally, I like somebody who is more fit. And there's a reason, because I enjoy fitness. So that immediately puts me into a category of somebody that I enjoy doing things with. It doesn't mean that I find heavier or thicker women repugnant or anything like that. It's if I have a preference, this is what I'm gearing towards because I know that there's a compatibility in place. Um, and even when I talk about weight, I'm not talking. It's less about the visual. I know I opened with a whole visual thing, but now that if I'm thinking, if I'm a thinking being or thinking human about those sort of things, when I'm talking about weight, when I'm talking about what I would want in a partner, not just a date, but a partner, like somebody long term. What I would want, girlfriend, wife, whatever, long term companion. Even if I never got married, I would still want a lower body weight. Somebody who's more fitness conscious. Why? Because it speaks to health. Health is longevity, which means I can live a long life with this person, and we can do it in relative quality of life that is something that we're both going to enjoy. I wouldn't want to be with somebody who knowingly, it'd be like being with a smoker or somebody who drinks heavily. If you're eating poorly and in large portions and things like that, you're not doing your body any more favors than you are by drinking or smoking. Obviously, those things can have worse effects, I think, sooner, but weight gain is just as damaging. So, it's me. That's my 2 cents on this, is that I don't want somebody who ultimately is going to be somebody that if things go poorly, that you end up having to take care of them when it was preventable. Now, if we're talking about somebody is stricken with like breast cancer or, something that comes along that was not on your scope where you could say this was preventable, far different. It's a way different category. But taking an interest in your partner's health to say, hey, let's lose weight together is not an insult. And it shouldn't be taken as one. It should be taken, I would think, as I'm so glad you noticed something that maybe I wasn't noticing about myself. And that's a fair thing to say if you are investing equally into the other person. So you would see as much in them, if not more. I mean, there's a lot of times your partner's going to know more or see more about you that you may not even realize. So there's something to be said about that, to take it as a compliment, to say this person really does care to take a look at my life and say this is what is going to work best for all of us. So again, just on a surface, if I'm talking casually, if I'm talking about what I would want with somebody, yes, there's a reason. And I'm sure there's a lot of BBWs that are amazing people. But for me, that's exactly where I would want to go. It's like, look, I'm sure you're an amazing person, but I still want somebody who is more conscious of their health, somebody who's more conscious about what they're eating. Because when you spend that much time together, you are subject a lot of times to have like those conflicts of interest. And I think in relationships, that's what we want to minimize. I generally would just want peace. If we're talking about dinner, it's the same thing. I don't want to have to stop at McDonald's after going to, someplace that I got, a salad or something, someplace that we can both eat from, someplace that we can both enjoy and not have to double back around to get something else that is less healthy. I just couldn't watch somebody doing that. It's no different than having somebody who smokes or is trying to stop smoking. I wouldn't go to the store for them to get cigarettes. I wouldn't stop at the alcohol store to get, liquor for somebody who drank heavily. It's not a part of what I would want to enable or support. I'm trying to support the best in this person, and sometimes we don't know what that is ourselves because we're caught in it. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but if you are out there and this is a topic, whether you are an overweight man, overweight woman, a smoker of a man, smoker of a woman, drinker, any sort of these things that can hold us captive sometimes, these addictions, these things that just are not generating the best that we can do for ourselves. If somebody's coming to you with a concern, please take them at their word that they are genuinely concerned about you and want the best for you. You may not be ready to change at this particular time, but at least don't be embattled with the people who are trying to help you. So by the time you are ready to make that change, they're fully supportive. So the best answer maybe sometimes is, I'm just not ready right now. Give me, some time, or let's take the smallest steps that we can together for this. But taking it personally only pushes back and sometimes validates what the other person is seeing in you, is that there's a real pushback at life for whatever reason. So hopefully this makes sense, guys. Please, if you like this content or if you just have some talking points, leave them in the comments, whether it's an experience that you've had, whether it's just a question. I can't answer everything. I'm not a nutritional professional or anything like that. It's just what I've been through in my dating time, dealing with people who struggled with their weight. And I think that the unfair part of that, the body shaming part, is if we really look at what body shaming is in this society, it's through media. It's not through each other. Cosmopolitan magazine and all of these magazines that told women that they had to be a certain size. That is a higher level of brainwashing of what gets people thinking like I have to look like that rather than. driving low self-esteem. You know, you can probably make a case for the pornography industry, that you're seeing these bodies that are in proportions that aren't always natural. We're seeing a lot of that on Instagram, TikTok, women with, getting their butts done. And again, going back to pornography, men that are just, the small percentage of endowment. So, we've done worse by allowing these things to entertain us than we've ever done by just saying them to each other. We are just now having it so stuck into our brains and saturated that that's all that comes out sometimes when we're talking about the mate that we think that we would like. Going back, if you like this content, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. If you care to share this with anybody else, that would be fantastic as well. But I'm going to leave it at that. And hopefully this finds everybody in a good place. Remember, your health of mind, body, and soul is extremely important. So support that in yourself and support that in those around you. Peace, love, unity, solidarity.